Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Good Old Days. Today we'll be talking about some of the ideologies that were before our time, such as machine-smashing Luddites. Luddites, or Luddism, was an ideology created by the textile-logicians of the early 19th century. Luddites were angry textile-logicians mainly, that had lost their jobs because of the creation of the machines to do their jobs. With machines helping make the jobs easier to do, it could be done by less skilled and at lower wages. So at this outrage, the Luddites, with nothing left to do, pulled out their hammers and started smashing. The movement began in Nottingham in 1811 and was named after Ned Ludd, a youth who had smashed two stocking frames 30 years earlier. The Luddites would meet on the moors outside the industrial cities, attacking at night. But in the end, the Luddites' violence was answered by the government with, well, more violence. By the end of 1812, the government had passed the capital crime of industrial sabotage, where the penalty was death. With Luddites dying and being arrested, the violent ideology slowly faded away in 1813. Though some Luddites today believe that the machines that are the cause of today's problems, and not only that they don't serve us, but that we serve them. Heavy stuff. So in the end, Luddism was not successful and only truly drew some attention to the machines and the working conditions. In the mid-19th century, two German philosophers came up with the ideology to fix the class struggle between the workers and the business owners. Karl Marx believed that the struggle could only be solved by a revolution where the workers would be in control of the government. Karl Marx's thoughts on the subject was discussed in his book, The Communist Manifesto, one of the biggest ways that he got his ideas of Marxism out there. One of Karl's thoughts was that with the technology advancing, that socialism would also eventually become communism. In the end, was it successful? Well, yes, but in the eyes of Karl Marx, maybe not. Because of his view on the workers leading the country only lasted for a short time, and as it moved onto the communists that we know today, we can never be sure.
Now we head to... What? How are we running out of time? Didn't you guys plan ahead? Fine, I'll try to shorten it as best I can. Imbeciles. Utopian socialism took place in the 19th century. They believed that the real benefits from arranging people in small, self-sustaining communities, that careful planning and regulation would provide for the economic, political, and social needs of the citizens. Also, they would live as equals. They spread their message by eliminating greed to promote growth, cultural enrichment, and democracy. In the end, utopian socialism was successful, and even today, the U.S. tries to establish cooperative communities based on utopian socialist values.
Our next ideology is Chartism. Chartism beliefs was that Parliament was annual, there was a payment for Parliament, and all men could vote, plus it was a secret ballot. The message of it was passed around in local newspapers, but in the end it wasn't that successful because it was rejected. Thankfully, in later years it was accepted. Then there's classic conservatism. Their goals was to honor the citizens of the past and future. The beliefs were that equality was not important, but traditions and customs were. The government would represent not only the people of the present, but also the people of the past and future. Edmund Burke got the message out in the end with his book Reflections on Revolutions in France. But in the end it was ultimately unsuccessful. And now our final ideology is democratic socialism. Their beliefs were that achievement of socialism was seen by social democrats and that they would embrace some aspects of Marxism, such as the idea of class. The message was sent out by strikes, elections, and voting. So, in the end, democratic socialism helped make Canada what it is today with their beliefs on human rights and equality. That is it for this short episode of The Good Old Days.
come back next time when we talk about some other stuff from, well, the good old days. See you guys.